hao from Taiwan. We just want to say good morning and thank you for joining Travel with Mark and Maria as we explore Taiwan and try to look again at all the things that we see as important for people within our age group as we travel and trying to be safe while focusing on life, health, and safety. Today's episode, we're going to speak a little bit about food and culture, because obviously food, we can't live without it, and we have to try to eat as healthy as possible to maintain our overall health. And the question I have for Maria today, again, she is born here within Asia in the Philippines, and again, as you know, I'm born and raised in Jamaica, and food is king. So is there a big correlation? Can you correlate food and culture as well as the types of food available regionally?
So one thing I realized about Asia, or pretty much in Thailand, in Japan, in the Philippines, is that rice. We eat rice. We eat rice for breakfast. We eat rice for lunch. We eat rice for dinner. We eat rice for snacks. And then when we're not eating rice, we eat rice for cakes, for desserts. All our stuff is rice. So
Rice is king.
So if you guys are saying that rice make you fat, and let's look at all the Asian people, that's not true. Rice do not make you fat. So, well, don't look at me. I eat a lot of rice, and a lot more stuff. But one thing I realized is that also in the Philippines is that what we do is we cook rice and then we buy different dishes outside, because one thing is that our houses, we have very small houses and our kitchen is very, very tiny. And then most of us maybe, well, especially when I was growing up, maybe 90% of the population did not have refrigerator, or at least 90% of the people that I know did not have refrigerator. So most likely we only bought food that we can cook that day, that we can eat that day, or that we can eat that meal. So for the breakfast and the lunch, you can't really stretch it all the way to dinner.
Right.
And for all of you people that know Philippines, our main dish that you all know is adobo. And adobo is because it has vinegar. And let's all be for real. They always says anything with vinegar survive 24 hours. So that's the reason why adobo is so popular.
So in Jamaica, we have the same thing with rice and peas, where we put coconut milk.
That don't last.
But coconut milk does not have a long shelf life after it's been cooked. So the goal is to always try to eat it fresh as possible. So over the past couple weeks, again, we've traveled from Thailand to here, and we used to live in Japan for quite some time, and Korea for work. And what I've noticed, yes, you are correct, rice is king. However, there's a big stark difference in the type of rice that I've been seeing. Because in Japan, they love the sticky rice.
Oh.
Right? In Jamaica, we like the long grain rice. In Thailand, it's kind of
jasmine rice.
They have more of jasmine rice is what they have.
And same with India is more of the, what is that, basmati rice.
So we met a young man from Africa, and he was here to purchase rice to ship back to Africa. I forgot the region, the country in Africa that he's from, eludes me right now. But he was talking about the different grades of rice, which I didn't really know much about, that there's different quality of rice. So he was purchasing, usually he said grade 2, grade 3 level rice, and he purchased it in large bulk and shipped it by container back to Africa, and then distributed to he's more, again, wholesale guy, distributed locally, and it wouldn't last too long, the amount of kilos, but based on the exchange rate, he was able to get pretty good quantity and make a good living doing so. So rice. Next thing I see here in Asia, fish.
Wait. Let's go back to that rice. So in Japan, the sticky rice is because they uses chopstick. So with the chopstick, you need to be able to grip the rice. So that's why the Japanese rice is more sticky. So they wanted it to be able to grip. Now, I think with the Chinese, it's not that much of a sticky because they are more accustomed to the bowl, lifting the bowl and pushing it. I don't know too much about the Chinese culture, so I'm probably telling you wrong or whatever. So I'm just saying that's how I saw the people, but my observation. But in Japan, I know that they like their rice more sticky because they lift it from the plate and
Bring the bowl to
and they wanted it more sticky. One thing.
Easier to manipulate with the chopstick.
In the Philippines, unfortunately, we have many different types of rice, and it depends on what you can afford. And
So you're not too picky.
no, it's what we can afford. And usually, we even have. Bear with me. This is when I was growing up. So we have rice that had a lot of grains. So that's more cheaper because it's not that clean. So we had to, we spend so many hours or minutes of the day that we had to pick it out and remove the grains, the little stones, the little sand that's been mixed with it. And then you have the one that's more cleaner, that's more expensive, things like that. Then you have the jasmine rice that's more
Special occasion.
the aroma. Then you have the long grain rice for fried rice and things like that. But we're not picky. If there's rice, we're good. And if we don't have rice and we only have 1 cup of rice, then we make soup. So we're going to eat. No matter what, we're going to eat.
Okay. So
Here-
basically, to complement the rice, now again, what I see here, a lot of fish. In Jamaica, we like the snapper. We love the snapper fish. In the Philippines, I see more bangus, tilapia are some of the most common fish I see around there. In the U.S., I would say, again, I'm speaking out of turn. A lot of time I see a lot of salmon and catfish, but for the most part, I lean more towards the salmon. I like the taste of the salmon, and the omega-3s hopefully can help with my blood pressure.
Yeah.
Then in Japan, they love the tuna, the bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
I think they eat about 80% of the world's tuna. Don't quote me on that statistic, but I think they eat about a large portion of the world's tuna. Sushi, whatever how you want to prepare it. Here, I'm not quite sure which one, because I've been seeing.
I see a lot of mackerel.
Yes.
And so it's more the fatty fish, but they also get a lot of different types of fish. I think it's also by the season. And when we were in Thailand, we were traveling with some friends, and they were amazed on how much people are selling the little carts. And she was asking me, how come all these people are selling food? What do they do at the end of the day? And I said, well, believe it or not, a lot of them do sell their dishes, because first of all, it's not deep. The bowl that they're selling is not deep. It's not large amount portion sizes. And also, a lot of the people already know who they have. They have their own favorite people that they go to. They like this person's cooking. They like that one person taste, or this one give more.
I think that's common no matter where you are in the country, is that you're accustomed to a taste, a specific taste based on how someone cook it. It's like barbecue in America. Is it wet rub? Is it dry rub?
Yeah.
Is it hickory? Is it pine? You get into all the different, get very technical when it
Yes.
comes to barbecue and what draws your it's smoke for many hours. So I think it's the same with who we choose and where we choose to go.
Mm.
We want that consistency in the taste. So we become loyal to specific people because as we go down the street, it seems like every corner has a store. And so how are they doing business if there's so many people selling the same thing? How do they turn a profit? And I think that's the reason. You're one, within walking distance to your favorite from where you live, within walking distance. Two, I'm going to buy every day for the most part because, like you said earlier, the kitchen is very small and refrigerating things. And I think so far what we've seen, local foods, not buying Burger King or things that are westernized, but buying locally produced foods works out to be a whole lot cheaper.
Yes.
Right? So in the long run, a lot of our friends that we met said it's cheaper to just buy every day than it is just to hoard or store a lot at home. You just buy it every day, so this way it's always fresh. So
Now, I'm gonna share a secret with you guys. For all of you Westerners that's just coming to Asia, that your stomach has not developed yet.
I see where you're going. You're talking more about food safety
Yes.
and eating clean, eating healthy, but make sure the food is prepared properly and the things that our iron cast stomach
Yes.
we used to have that we no longer have.
Yes.
What's safe
What
to
can
eat?
you do?
Right.
So what I'm about to say is that I'm not trying to bash anybody. So when I grew up in the Philippines, I used to have a iron cast stomach. I could buy anything, anywhere, and eat anything from anybody, and I won't get sick. Now, that's not the case. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. Maybe because I will be turning 60 and my stomach is no longer as strong as it is. But the secret that I'm about to tell you is this. So if you're gonna go and buy food from vendors outside, go ahead and do so, but take it home and heat it up. Heat it up
If you
to
buy
the
cold food.
Yeah, no. Even if you buy hot food, any food, even if it's fried, even if it's supposedly hot, heat it to the temperature. The reasoning is that a lot of the food have sat there, you don't know how long, and you need to bring it up to the proper temperature and let it reach the temperature and let it boil or whatever for about at least 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. Let it be. So you can at least kill some of the bacteria and help your stomach. And please, 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 please do not drink public water. Make sure that you always drink mineral water.
Bottled water.
Try bottled water. Try your best. Do not get no ice. If you can, make your own ice cubes or whatever. Buy a can of soda. Let them give you the soda and you open it up and you pour it on your glass and everything. This one always gets sick. And I want to tell you it took you 2 months? 2 months to get over, and 2 months, 3 hospitals, and then about almost a year and a half just to find out he had salmonella poisoning. So see how big he is? But his stomach is not cast iron either. And we didn't know when and where, but one of them got him.
So now my rule of thumb is, especially when it comes to restaurants, food stalls, I want to observe, making sure how they're preparing the food, how sanitary that they're being as much as possible. 2, another key indicator is if it's good and that it's not sitting, is what kind of line is out there. If more people are buying from a specific place, more people, the less the food is sitting, right? So there's more turnover in fresh food being cooked, as opposed to going to a stall that there's no one there and the food look like it's been sitting there for a while.
Eat in the morning.
Right.
First thing in the morning.
So that was advice of a friend of ours in Thailand. Always eat early when everything is cooked, early when it's freshly cooked and haven't been sitting for a while. And again, we have things called serve safe, that you look at how someone is using the glove. Are they using the same glove to cook the food, serve the food, and then handle the money? You have to watch a lot of those things in sanitation. Where's the booth? Is it by some drain, some sewer lines? All of these things, you have to be careful, but just make good choices. Cost, we try as much to be as frugal as possible, trying to make sure our money go far, because again, we're living on fixed income. So to stay within the budget, we're trying to buy as much locally produced, as much local cuisine here that we see. And again, a lot of soup. They do a pretty good job with their soups and the noodles. I love the noodles, the rice, the mangoes that we've been having, fresh,
vegetables.
trying to buy things that they obtain locally. Bok choy is kind of common, I see here, which is good. But trying to stay away from the high-end places and from the Western foods they're accustomed to, and try to understand the culture through the food. So they prepare things locally, and what they eat here locally, which we focus on and keep our price down as much as possible. For the most part, I've seen usually under Taiwanese dollars, about $6. You can eat pretty good. So that's pretty, course meal for 200. So that's real good.
But I have to say this, but I rather stay in Thailand than here, because it is more expensive here in Taiwan than in Thailand.
And I don't know why, because the economy, person here makes an equivalent,
just a little bit,
$6 an hour, $6 an hour equivalent. So I'm not sure why the costs of a lot of goods and services are so much higher. Now, this is one thing, that this is not a vacation destination for a lot of people. The beaches, the resorts, I've seen a lot of that thus far. Industrial factories, there are a lot of people who are here to work, who have come from other countries within it to work at some of these factories that produce a myriad of different things, one of them. So tourist standpoint, it is not, for me and what I've observed, it is not a tourist destination by far. With the people living on the west coast of the island, and I think 1/3 of the population lives in Taipei. So from middle line Taipei off to the east coast, there is more mountainous, and there isn't a lot of people living there. So it's pretty quiet.
Barely see anybody.
It's not as much people as we saw in Thailand, and it's even far less than we see in the Philippines. Far less people. It's so quiet. As you can hear, it's just so quiet. And just going along their day, but it's just not a lot of people. It's not as congested and busy. Tokyo, busy, very busy. I don't see that here.
After this episode, we have a special episode and tell you guys the reason why we're here. As he said, the reason why we're here is not because of vacation. We're here because my cousin had an accident, and we're here to kind of help out. She had a motorcycle accident, and she have anyone to help her. So that's the reason why we're here. So that would be
another discussion when we talk about, again, people that are coming here to work, and the challenges, benefits, cost-based analysis, what are the benefits of coming here, and what are some of the things that don't necessarily work in their favor. But a totally different discussion. So on just kind of recap about food here and food choices, is that we try to our costs down, We try to buy locally as much
Local.
as possible, and have a myriad of options of locally obtained or grown products here. A lot of vegetables, good vegetables. Fish, rice is king. That's been consistent
Seven
in the
delivers
Asian countries.
good stuff.
Yeah. Ooh, and there's Grab, thing.
Mhm.
They do a lot of delivery if you choose not to leave your place. But I'd rather you explore and communicate as you can using a translation if you don't speak the language. But it's through the interaction that you really get to the culture of the people and how they express that in how they prepare the foods. And just try it. If you don't like it, then at least you know what you don't like. But the only way you're going to find out what really works for you, and try to make sure one, you eat safe by make sure food is cooked that or as close to when you procure it. But there's some good food here, good people. Everyone is, again, they're working hard, trying to achieve their dreams. And there's a lot of local stores because everything is built around walking. How far do I need to travel to get the things I need? So what the locals do, and I think you will eat just fine and all the sustenance you need to stay healthy and within your budget. So again, we want to say ni hao from Thailand. And Taiwan from Taiwan. And thank you very much for joining Travel with Mark and Maria.